Good morning. Today we're actually headed to Matson Hill Park to hike the southern section. If you saw my video from Matson Hill last spring, that was the northern section of the park. When we get to Matson Hill, we'll be parking in a lot next to the Daniel Boone Hayes home. Daniel Boone Hayes was the grandson of Daniel Boone, the frontiersman. And behind me is actually Nathan Boone's home, Daniel Boone's youngest son. Daniel Boone spent the last 21 years of his life in this house and passed away in the bedroom in the upper corner to my left. Across the road from here is the cemetery with the grave. This is an interesting little stop. I know it's unusual for the videos I usually do, but I thought the history was neat. The St. Charles County Parks and Lindenwood University joined together a few decades ago, actually I think maybe as long ago as the 60s, and took this home and created a historical site out of it. And with the grounds around the home, they've moved a lot of other historic buildings from the local area into here to have like a blacksmith, a schoolhouse, a grist mill, a covered bridge, and some other just historic family homes that are in the area. So what I'm going to do is tour this for just a few minutes from the outside, give you an idea of what's in this village, and then we'll head over to the Hayes home and then start our hike. So I'm currently standing in front of the Sappington Dressel house. This house was previously located off Gravois Road, southwest of the city of St. Louis, and stood next to Whitehaven, which is the former home of President Ulysses S. Grant. What they have done is taken the original Boone home and created a village called Boonesfield Village around this home, down into the valley. It's really interesting to tour. We're currently at the back of the Boone home. This home sits roughly halfway up the valley, and then it overlooks a cleared valley with most of the village buildings in it below. I'm going to turn around and pan the valley. This will show roughly 3/4 of the buildings that are here. Well, this is pretty exciting. Several of these buildings are open and I'm free to go inside. Behind me is a schoolhouse, a little one-room schoolhouse. Let's go take a look at it. This was the Mount Hope School. I don't know, maybe 20-30 students could have sat in here if they were crowded together on the benches. And there's a large fireplace behind the camera, which I'll turn around and show you. This was the Mount Hope School originally, before it was located here. My grandmother taught in a one-room school down in Tennessee. A little bit larger than this, had a Franklin stove in it instead of a fireplace. It's kind of neat. That's a rather large fireplace for a room this small. Really great craftsmanship in this building. Behind me is what was originally a detached kitchen, but it has been converted into a milliner and dressmaker shop. And this is also open. Oh, this is really great inside here. They have several different examples of balloons. I see at least 4 distinct styles in there. I'm beginning to feel like a bit of a tour guide. Here we have the Old Peace Church, circa mid-1800s. Oh, it feels like it's air conditioned in here. It's really nice. It's a beautiful building with a balcony above us and a basement below us. This was originally located in the town of New Melly, just 5 miles from here. Above me is the balcony with a small pipe organ at the front of the church. A nice spiral staircase. This building was originally built as a dance hall and a general store, and they remodeled in the later 1800s. This is the Squire Boone home. Squire was one of Daniel Boone's younger brothers and a frequent hunting companion. Well, someone's mowing out here, but this is the Newton Howe house. I often think of the Appalachians when I see a dog trot style cabin. This one's not open to look inside. So what we're going to do, this is roughly 1/3 of the historic buildings here to see. I thought I'd just give an overview of it. And we're going to head to the Hayes home, Daniel Boone's grandson, which is only 2 miles from here. We'll pick it up there. Okay, we're currently at Matson Hills in front of the Hayes home, Daniel Boone's grandson. His name was Daniel Boone Hayes, by the way. This is only available for tours on weekends. Today is a Friday. But I do want to say tomorrow is the first official day of fall, and I am pumped for that. That means temperatures are going to start cooling, and eventually those ticks and chiggers are going to die. Yeah, because there's barely a spot on my body left for them to chew on. Let's go ahead and look at the back of this house, and then we'll start hiking. Okay, so it looks like a three-story house, maybe three and a half. Similar to Nathan Boone, Daniel Boone house. That was actually a four-story, but I'm sure the attic space was kind of low. It's a beautiful house. I could live here. Well, it's beginning to feel like fall. In a few weeks, those pawpaw leaves are going to be a bright yellow. Very beautiful to see. I'm ready. So here in the middle of the screen, behind the maple, you can see the sassafras is beginning to turn. It's going to be a bright orange when it finishes changing, and of course the maple is right behind it. Last fall I did a fall colors hike right at peak color, by the way, on the Lewis and Clark Trail. If you're getting anxious for the color to be out there in the woods, go preview that. It was really pretty. Wow, the pawpaws are really thick here. It's beautiful. Well, here's a sign I've never seen before. We're definitely going that way. Do not enter. Bike only, one-way trail. Gateway off-road cyclists build these trails out here for mountain bikers and share them with hikers. They're really, I think it'd be great on a bike, but they're really fun to hike too. No uphill riding or hiking. Here we go. Well, it's interesting because the sign said no uphill. That's all this is. It's a snake, continuous series of switchbacks. They're all steeply banked. It's obviously meant to ride fast. It's a gravity flow downhill. This would be a blast on a bike. There's another sign, do not enter. So we are on the uphill. I just talked to a mountain biker who's been riding out here for a long time. He said originally that ride with all the switchbacks was a downhill, and then they put this new trail in, which we're looking at ahead, and made that the new downhill and this only uphill to make them both one way. I've never been in this area of the park. These trails are all fairly new. It is really pretty here. You could tell this area was never logged because of the steepness of the hills. So it's really an old growth forest, and we're in the shade the entire time. This is wonderful. Man, the woods are really still. This entire hike they have been really quiet and still. And it's overcast. We're supposed to have heavy thunderstorms moving in about 3 to 4 hours with 1 to 2 inches of rain. I'm fairly confident we could complete this hike before then. I think it's 5 miles, something like that, 6 miles. It's not too bad. This is really pretty. I like this southern section of the park better than the northern section. I think it's just steeper and a little more rugged, and I don't know. Maybe because we're just almost at that touch of fall. I will have to say though, we're probably pushing high 70s to 80 with a lot of humidity, so it may look like fall's coming, sure doesn't feel like it. We'll carry on. All right, time to get some electrolytes in. I mean, this isn't like hot like it was a month ago, but it's so damn muggy. Still feels hot. Here you can see a tiny dogwood. It's beginning to turn. Still one of the early trees to turn, but this is early for any of them to start to turn. And if you look at the leaves on that dogwood, they're going brown and curling. Usually a dogwood would turn a bright, vibrant red and hold that color for a couple of weeks before they start to curl and drop. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is we had a really dry summer. We had a couple of months drought at the beginning of summer. Then we had kind of a month of average rain, and we've been in a drought again for over a month now, which means probably little to no fall color this year, at least not in this area. I have to do some research, maybe down in the Ozarks we could find some later. Okay, so we're following the Hayes Trail, which is to the left. This area is just a giant playground for mountain bikers. I'm a little jealous, but as you can see, all of these trails are off limits to hikers coming down the hill, and Gateway Off-Road cyclists have just done such a great job. They've got signs telling you there's a jump ahead, a drop ahead. There are 2 or 3 downhill trails, so you can just do that serpentine uphill and go downhill again a different way over and over. What a way to spend the day. That looks like fun. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly where I am. Don't worry, I'm used to it. But we're at an intersection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trails. It's a bowl of spaghetti. And it's not on the map that I've got anyway, but this is off limits to hikers, and it goes up to, there's a sign for the downhill hub, which must be, we're on a ridge line that continues up farther than I could see. So this is one heck of a drop, probably 300-400 feet, maybe more, as they come down these multiple options. I know what I want for Christmas, Jackie. It's a mountain bike. Okay, so I have the park's trail map downloaded on my phone because we're outside of cell range. It's funny, I was really maybe 20-25 minutes from where I live, but that's all it took. So here's my 2 options. I could go this way, up a hill, or this way, down the hill. Looking at the trail maps, like I said, I'm really not sure where I am, and some of this doesn't look like it's even on the map, like it's newer than the map, which is probably it. I'm thinking this way up the hill is the short route back to the car. And this is probably going to add 3 or 4 miles to the hike. I know rain's coming, but it's not here yet, so we're doing the long way. Well, this looks like a pile of stones the Gateway Off-Road cyclists use in the low water areas. You see these every time you're in the little dips. Man, those are heavy to lug around. Wow. Whoa. Yeah. I don't need no stinking mountain bike. Whoa. Come on, no hands. Wow. I had to slow it down. Brakes are overheating. Ow. Man, you can tell that storefront's almost here. Every time the wind blows through, it just rains acorns down on my head. Let's get back to the car. Wow, good job. You know, sometimes when I'm out, I'm reminded of this old joke. What's the last thing a redneck says before he dies? Hey y'all, watch this. Anyway, I'm near the end of the trail, so it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for taking a walk with me. I hope you enjoyed our time together. Please join me for future ones. Bye-bye.